What's going on, guys? Welcome to Rabbit's Used Cars. It's cold outside. We're sitting here in the heat in my office doing what I do probably 90% of my day, looking for cars online, whether it's on this, wherever. I am always looking for cars to buy. It was funny. We're actually been out new car shopping lately and for different people and looking at a lot of new cars. And the pandemic's kind of threw a kink in a lot of dealerships getting inventory and things like that. So they're getting cars that they ordered in April now and vice versa and whatnot. And, of course, the couple cars that everybody wants, the Escalades and, of course, C8 Corvette earlier this year, caused such a ruckus. But the thing that's funny, and it got me thinking about it a little bit, one, dealerships in general, I find humor in them because I've lived that life. So naturally being on the outside looking in now, it's just kind of funny to watch the workings and watch how other people work and all that. Sometimes I like to, especially if they don't know who I am, just to kind of sit back and be quiet and observe. One of the funniest things I've heard recently at a new car dealership, and this was actually the Maserati dealer here in Greenville. I have zero interest in Maserati vehicles. It was strictly for entertainment purposes that I was even here. I'll be honest with you, I just kind of want to see what they did with the build more than anything, not the cars so much. So we're walking around and they had whatever the damn Maserati SUV is now. And the little salesman comes up, he's got his buttoned up shirt on and his slacks. He's Mr. Cool. He comes up and got his little, I don't know, whatever haircut, and he comes up, he's telling me all about the features, and it's got this Ferrari engine and this and this and this and this and this. And he jokes around, he goes, and the best part of it all is the warranty on Maseratis. He said, bumper to bumper. And I'm like, one more time, what did you say? He said, bumper to bumper. I said, so you're telling me? He goes, bumper to bumper. And I said back to him, bumper to bumper. I shit you not. He said, I had literally went back and forth 10 times with him on that just because I had to. Just reliving my whole Land Rover days, which ironically, this was the same exact spot where I bought my Land Rover from. So it was the same building and the same premises, but now it's the new Maserati place. But anyway, talking about dealerships and ordering cars. I've been looking at some new Cadillacs and things like that. It's funny how different dealers order different things. A lot of dealers kind of play the safe bet. They order common colors, common interior colors, and you got some that get wild. I remember back working at the Ford place, and this is '06, we actually had a Ranger that stickered out at like damn near XLT Lariat F-150 money because it had so many options on this little Ford Ranger. And like it sat for months and months. I mean, to my knowledge, I don't think it ever sold. It was there when I left. And, so you got to be careful when you're ordering cars. You don't want to get them too loaded out sometimes. And sometimes, you also don't want them too bare. You want to find that happy medium. Our guy at the Ford store that was ordering cars, thank goodness the guy before him kind of left a little, like a cheat sheet of popular things. So like our good selling stuff like the F-150 trucks and the Mustangs. He always orders good colors and always got lots of manual transmissions for our Mustangs. And that got me thinking about a story that was really popular on VinWiki that I told. Several of the CarMax stories, were always fun. But a funny one at CarMax was how CarMax bought cars. And you got to think about it. Before Carvana and Vroom and whatever else internet car lot is hot now, we had CarMax, the new way to buy a used car. Their big thing was, you got to think about it. Their big thing was one price shopping. Everybody, their salesmen didn't work on commission, and it was just a different way. And the thing you got to understand about CarMax is CarMax was actually owned by Circuit City. Yes, Circuit City, the place that sold home computers and stereos and all that stuff. It was actually owned by them. And CarMax was started as a tax write-off. It was made to lose money. And then what do you know? It took off and started making money. And I'll be damned, Circuit City went bankrupt and CarMax still around. I actually remember getting my first paycheck from CarMax, and it was the Circuit City Bank was where our paychecks came from. I thought that was cool. And then, of course, later on when Circuit City went bankrupt, it got traded off to like the Sonic Group or something like that. But anyway, CarMax was a little different. you know, about the way they did things. Like I remember telling the VinWiki story about the Explorer with all the pills in it. So let's just bounce back to the Explorers. And this is something you didn't hear on VinWiki. CarMax has buyers. And so, like, when you see all the YouTube guys bring their POS exotics into CarMax to see what they'll give for them, well, those guys that are there doing that, those are buyers. Those guys have a 4-year degree to have that job. In what? No one knows. Because I have never seen a college degree that helped you buy good used cars. You had to have a 4-year degree to have that position. And I thought that was the coolest job ever. These guys hop on a plane and fly off these auctions and go buy cars, and they had the cool little CarMax buyer jacket. And they'd go buy all these cars and fly back in and tell us about how good they were. And then when they got there, they're big pieces of crap usually. But, it's just that cool job. Had their cool little office, these little cubicles, and on their laptops. Keep in mind, we're owned by Circuit City, so we always had the cool stuff. Now all the cool laptops and the extra monitors and all this stuff. Matter of fact, one of the first flat screen TVs I ever seen in my life was in the buyer's offices. They had them up, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And this was like 2000, 2001, something like that. So a funny buyer story. And, I picked on them a little bit about buying the wrecks or cars with paintwork and things like that because they didn't sell cars like that at CarMax, although they had a paint booth in the back. The thing that was funny was these buyers, when you're getting into the car business, and I have a million people ask me all the time, how do you buy good used cars? And, it's not just one particular thing or one method. There's a lot of things that go into buying a good car. And then collector cars are a whole nother realm. But just buying good used retail sheet metal cars, the first thing you want is late model, low mileage, good price. Well, these three things are very hard to find usually without paintwork or, a questionable past. I'm not going to say a salvage title, but something going on with it. So are they coming from an area that's not, really popular for buying used cars? The buyers, I don't know if they got to choose where they went or they were assigned or what, but they love to go to Mannheim up north and go up there because the cars were cheaper there. Well, you know why the cars are cheaper there? Because they're rusty. That's why they're cheaper. I mean, we got this just truckloads of, late model Explorers and Subarus and Nissan Sentras and Tauruses and all these off-lease and rental cars, because they were low mileage, late model. I mean, they were literally, instead of looking at the cars, they were literally just buying them out of a sell sheet. I mean, we haven't printed off an auctioneer now. And all they see in that sell sheet is year, make, model, color, mileage. And they can buy it at wholesale. That's a deal. I'm a car buyer. Yeah, yes and no. And so I got a story where that bites them hard in the ass. The Explorer that was chock full of pills. So that Explorer was actually a really rare truck. It was a raised roof Explorer. And you're like, a raised roof Explorer? Google it. They only made about 200 of them. And I didn't know this at the time. I was researching a video. You should be proud of me. But they made about 200 of them. CarMax owned like 27 because we had 3 truckloads of these damn things come in at once. And this Explorer with the pills in it was actually in the batch with these. They're like a conversion van. So they got a raised roof, but it's on an Explorer. And they're goofy looking. I mean, with that raised roof. But you got to think about it. They all came in and they had these Nerf bars, like the step rails and the brush guards and tail light guards, kind of Range Rovered up a little bit looking, factory wheels, white letter tires. These are, I don't know, 96, 97, 98. There again, boy, Ford Explorer, one of the best selling cars of all time. Low mileage, late model. We need those. And they bought them all. 27 of these things. The reason I know it's 27 is they hauled 9 cars and I've seen 3 truckloads personally myself from CarMax. They got these things. And these things were spread out. And at the time, CarMax was pretty much Southeastern. And so these things were spread all over the Southeast. And we had 9 of them at our dealership. We had a pretty big dealership and here in Greenville. And so we had all these cars here. And the only problem was, well, all these cars came from Anaheim. So they're a little rusty. You know, they're a little crusty under the bottom. Bodies are looking good, but all these cheap accessories they put on, all these Nerf bars and brush guards and taillight guards, whatnot, were literally rusting off of them. You know, all the cheap powder coat, and as soon as the water and the rust gets up under there, that stuff starts flaking off, and this stuff looked horrible. So what do? They took all that stuff off of them. So we just had regular looking Ford Explorers with raised roofs on them. These things were so goofy looking, like a conehead looking Explorer. And literally, we had so many, they would put 2 out at a time. And when they finally sold them off, they would take 2 and send them to detail and send them back out there and put 2 more out. And these things were so, I mean, like literally, I don't think I ever seen the last one sell. Matter of fact, I actually think they ended up they moving them around and putting them on they had a thing at CarMax called VQI, which was like their budget buy side. And they started moving them over there and lowering the price on them just to sell them, because these buyers were buying these things because they were buying them from the sell sheet. You know, they seen low mileage, late model, you know, and then it was below wholesale because hell, nobody wanted them. And that's the difference, you know, in buying cars. You want to buy something that people want, you know, and that's, you know, there's no money to be made in something. And I mean, I'm sure they made money off a few of them, but I would almost bet my life they ended up losing on the rest of them. And the problem is with things like that is when you buy those oddities, you know, sometimes that can be a good thing. Like when I'm buying a classic car and, you know, let's say it's a square body truck and somebody ordered a crew cab, square body. Well, you know, that's kind of neat. Lower down on a big set of wheels, that's an oddity, but it could sell good. Do I want 40 of them? No, I want 1 of them. And that's the thing, you know, when they're buying, you know, low mileage, late model, that's something you need to understand when you're looking at cars. You want to buy things that are desirable, not just you like, you know, like, hell, I was looking at a 4-wheel drive damn C4 Corvette earlier. Do I think that's going to be a good sales thing? No, because I was raised in a trailer park. I thought that was cool. So you got to remember that when you're buying cars. And you know, you got to remember that when you're looking. You know, it's not about you, it's the consumer. I feel like Joe Dirt when I said that. That's something to remember. And, you know, next time you think about buying something odd, you can think about all them 4-year-degree buyers at CarMax that got their ass chewed for buying a bunch of conehead rusty Explorers. Guys, we'll catch you next time at Rabbit's Used Cars. And that's my A camera. Yeah. So I need to keep this over here. But anyway, but Circus City. He said I like it.